Hey everyone, this is Delisa. Thank you all so much for stopping by my channel. And before we get started tonight, please be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button. So, as you all see, today's topic is 3 healing steps that we find difficult to achieve, to do, to complete. And when I went through my healing process, some years ago, these were 3 areas where I found it a bit challenging and difficult to overcome in order to complete my healing journey. So I just wanted to take out the time today to share these 3 steps with you all and just help someone else as they're going along their healing journey. So be sure to grab your pen, your pad, your notebook, whatever it is you use to write information down, and be sure to take great detailed notes. So step number one, it is accountability. Accountability is just basically one being willing to take responsibility or ownership for their actions, for their behavior. Now, when we look at accountability and we're talking about healing, it is not excusing the behavior or the choices of the other party. It's just simply saying that, hey, I am working on me because I cannot change, or I don't have the authority to change another person. I do not want you all to look at accountability as if I'm saying start to come down on yourself, beat yourself up, be hard on yourself. No, I want you all to be able to acknowledge and recognize if there was anything that you have said or done that contributed to a negative situation or created a negative situation, so that you can learn from it and that it could help you in future situations. So let's look at it like this. Let's take this example. So you were in a relationship or you were in a friendship. You had a wise counsel from maybe your parents, your best friend. They started to tell you, okay, I see this red flag, this red flag. Oh, and by the way, I see this red flag. And so you need to get out of that situation, because it's not healthy. It's just going to, weigh you down. You could do so much better. And so you agreed. You saw the red flags, you agreed, but you chose to continue to move forward in that situation with whomever that person was, for whatever reason. Maybe you thought that it would get better. Maybe you didn't think it was as bad. So you chose to continue to move forward. And by you choosing to continue to move forward, it added more heartache. It added more pain. It added more frustration, arguing, drama, toxicity, negativity. And so in a situation like that, where you had the opportunity to remove yourself a lot sooner and, escape some of the hardship and the difficulty that it added to you, you chose to stay in. And so now you could take accountability and say, you know what? I should have handled that situation differently. I should have, taken heed to the wise counsel and information that was given to me. And especially if you agreed and you've seen it as well. Now, sometimes I do understand it takes a while for people to kind of, see it. But especially if you did see it, or you knew that, hey, something's not right. It's a lot of arguing all the time. We've tried talking through this and it's not getting any better. So maybe this is not the right fit for me. So when we're talking about accountability, you're able to say, you know what, let me take ownership of my part. I could have removed myself from the situation a lot sooner. So now in the future, if you get, in a situation with an individual that is not the best, or it's negative and it's not getting better, then now okay, hey, after I've had a few conversations, it's not working out, it's not coming together, then I may need to go ahead and just separate myself and detach myself and exit. Okay, so step number 1 is accountability. Step number two is a big one, and it's very, very, very imperative. When we hear healing, we automatically hear forgiveness. Forgiveness is very, very, very important, because forgiveness is not necessarily for the other party. It is for you. Forgiveness is just simply put as an individual being willing to release the resentment, the bitterness, the hurt, the anger, the frustration of the offender that you have towards the offender. And so When we get to this place to where we're willing to let go of the bitterness and the frustration, that's when we're starting to free up our heart, free up our mind, and free up our soul. Now, when we're looking at forgiving another party, we're not saying that what they said was okay, what they did was okay. That is not what we're saying. But remember, we do not have the authority or the ability to change anyone else. We can only work on ourselves. And you need to free up that space and that energy inside of you that circumstance or that situation or that individual is holding hostage. You're taking back your power. You're getting your freedom. You're getting your joy. Now, also too, when we're speaking about forgiveness, we must touch on false forgiveness. There are a lot of individuals walking around believing in their mind that they have forgiven someone. But deep down inside, they have not. All they really have done is just kind of brushed over it and was just saying, out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to deal with that person anymore. I don't have to talk to them anymore. I'm not worried about it. All is forgiven until that person shows back up, until a song that reminds them of that situation comes up, a scent, someone says that person's name. And then what happens at that point? Emotions, all these mixed emotions start to come up and come up to the surface and bubble up to the surface again. Some people roll their eyes. Some people may, think about it too long and ponder on it. They may start crying. They may get frustrated. They may get angry. They may get upset. And that lets you know that you really have not forgiven in that area or in that situation or forgiven that person. So when we're talking about forgiveness, we have to remember that forgiveness is just freeing yourself up from all of the gook and the negativity and the hurt that's inside of us that hardens our heart. So when you're looking at forgiveness, just remember that when you're walking through the step of forgiveness, it takes time. It is not a quick fix. You cannot brush over it. You cannot, just stuff and just automatically think it's going to go away. It doesn't work like that. But be patient with yourself. As long as you're doing the necessary work and taking the necessary steps and you're intentional and you're determined to forgive, then you are headed down the right path and on the right track towards true freedom and towards healing. So guys, that is step number 2, forgiveness. So our third and final step, vulnerability. Vulnerability can be difficult at times, especially when, some of us have went through years of distrust. We had trust issues with people. They betrayed us, they hurt us, they lied to us, and we loved them. We thought they loved us. We cared deeply for them. And they hurt us, they crushed our heart, they crushed our feelings. And so we began to just stuff all of these things on the inside and build walls. But one thing about building those walls is, yes, it does help you kind of keep a lot of the negativity and the difficult people and those types of things out. But you're also keeping out some amazing people. You're keeping out some people that really may want to, love you and care for you and help you. But because you had so many broken situations or a really big one that just crushed you and just left you, crumbled in pieces, then we get to this place to where we don't want to let anybody in. I'm like, no, we don't want to let anybody in. Because it hurts too bad. And we feel like if I trust you again, if I trust someone else again, they're just going to do the same thing that happened before. I can't share my heart. I can't share my feelings. I can't share what I really think because that information will be mishandled. The way that I feel, my truth will be mishandled. And so when we're looking at vulnerability, we have to get to a place to where we're willing to start to chip away at this wall, and we're willing to be more open, and we're willing to allow our hearts to be exposed. I do understand though that when we get to this place in that healing journey and you had a lot of trust issues, that is going to take a bit of time because it is difficult because you don't know who to trust with your heart or who to trust with your emotions. So I suggest you start with you. Get by yourself in a quiet place and just start to be honest and start to open up, start to get it out, start to say, call out the names. They hurt me, they said this, they did this, cry, get all of that stuff up out of you first before you try to make it to that next level of finding someone that you want to start to open up with. Because if an individual mishandles your emotions and the way that you think and what you're trying to tell them, then it just causes you to go back inward. And then guess what? You're like, no, see, I tried it. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to do it again. So get to a place to where first you're comfortable with you and you're comfortable with speaking it out and opening up your mouth and saying it. No matter what it sounds like, no matter what it looks like, just get to a place to where you're willing to start to free yourself. You're starting to free yourself and you're starting to open up yourself and you're starting to really work to get it out. And then you can gradually and slowly step to, finding a confidant, finding someone that you can trust, finding someone that you can begin to share, your emotions and how you feel and be a little bit more transparent with. But just keep in mind that no matter what it is that, you're enduring and you're going through in that moment, you can get through it. You just have to create a mindset of being an overcomer. So guys, those are the 3 steps that I wanted to share with you all tonight. I thank you all so much for sticking this out with me. I really hope and pray that there was something that I said that blessed you all and that resonated with you all. And before I let you go, if you guys want to hear more about these 3 steps and my healing process, please be sure to get a copy of my book. It's titled Fight Back: The Journey to Emotional and Mental Healing. I'll have it linked down in the description box. But until next time, you all please be safe and God bless. Bye-bye.